welcome back. Teh
Tarik
Hour.
Hour.
As always, is us. You know who we are. We're back again for another episode. As always, if you enjoy what we do, please share, like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. And if you want to reach out to us, tehtarikhour@gmail.com. Straight into the topic of the day. Halal foods. Well, not just halal food, it's just halal.
Halal and haram food.
Well, let's not go the haram route just yet. Okay. Well, I mean, I think this is a recent topic
Very hot topic, I think, in town currently.
by our favorite politician very politician woman,
The
DAP,
politician, DAP, the
DAP lady.
Bukit Jalil, the lady squad. What's her name?
Teresa Kok.
Teresa.
Poor Teresa lah. I think her opinion not so bad lah actually, but a lot of people seem to got offended or something or feel like need to attack her or something lah. But if you don't know what we're talking about, it's about the halal certification issue. Teresa Kok said that the process of getting halal certification should remain voluntary lah. So what that means is, as a restaurant, if you want to open a restaurant, you don't have to go for certification if you want to. If you don't want to lah, basically.
Okay, then we come in this topic, the halal, these certificates. I think Malaysia's all around KL and this East our West Malaysia here,
Semenanjung.
Peninsula here we are actually we are multiracial. It's a multiracial piece of land. So we have a Chinese or whatever,
Indians, lain-lain, others.
others. But for halal certificate actually is specified for one group of people or certain group of people.
But
certain religion.
The thing is, right, you need to consider that it represents the majority of the population.
Yep.
60% of the population in Malaysia, it's like 20 million or something.
Yep.
Are Muslim, or Muslim Malay or Muslim in some form lah. So it would make sense logically to think like, oh, that means like majority is 60%, so need to cater to the majority. We should be Muslim lah. We should be halal lah. Muslim.
Yeah, it's let's say for 60%, it's not necessary. I mean the restaurant itself, because restaurant itself is you can indicate in the halal. Because this one is convenient to our Muslim friends who are coming to eat in the restaurant.
But before that, let's just go back first lah. Do you think Malaysia should require every restaurant to have a halal certification or not?
I think it's not necessary.
Not necessary lah.
Not necessary.
So I think there's not much disagreement between me and on the both of us, because I also think that halal certification shouldn't be a requirement to start a food place in Malaysia lah. Because some restaurants might not want to cater to Muslims, or just or want to sell certain food items that's not permissible for Muslims lah. So forcing them to get halal certification means saying that they are not allowed to make that kind of food. For example, like bak kut teh.
Okay. One more thing is like I believe it's halal certificate is because this is a NGO. It's not under the government's sector. It's not NGOs, right?
I think it's an NGO.
NGO, but you want the halal certificate, especially for Chinese restaurants. It's quite difficult for Chinese to apply the certificate. If let's say this is under the government, if let's say the halal certificate is under government, it's transparent numbers or transparent pay. The transparency, the process lah. I think it's more easy for Chinese people to accept.
Is the issue right now that the process for applying halal certification is very mafan or very
mafan, and then it's very
tiring or very
and don't have any right pathway for people who are apply for this halal certificate. And for some Chinese restaurant, they want you go for the halal certificate.
The thing is, right, halal certification is very funny, right? Like if you go to a, let's say, kedai tepi jalan makcik, right? Who is a Malay,
Malay ladies, yes.
You wouldn't say like, where's your halal certification? Would you? You wouldn't ask her this thing, right?
Okay, the problem is the halal certificate is not very easily for the people who are get a halal certificate. If let's say for today, it's like just like I open a shops, I open a normal restaurants. they have this what you call that? They have the people who are check your kebersihan.
It's like a inspector there lah,
Inspector
to check
your cleaners, your kitchens, everything's lah.
But again, like I'm saying that, you know, when you see like a kedai tepi jalan makcik, right, or selling the goreng pisang thing, right?
Yeah, same thing also.
You're not gonna ask her for halal certification. The makcik who's like a Malay Muslim.
Yeah, Malay Muslim.
You wouldn't ask her for a halal certification, or you know, you go to the pasar, you see the makcik selling the nasi lemak on the tepi jalan who's Malay. You're not going to say, where's your halal certification?
No, the inspection will be maybe if we are include the cleanliness, maybe how clean your store makcik, this kind of thing.
Maybe that will happen, but
halal,
the general population wouldn't bother to ask this thing, right? Of course, when you come to a restaurant where you eat and sit there, yes, cleanliness is an issue. But again, if it's a Malay-owned restaurant or like a Malay-style restaurant, I don't necessarily in my first head to ask where's the halal certification, because it's a Malay restaurant, right?
Yeah.
So if we were to say that everyone is required to get a halal certification, that means even the Malay-owned restaurant needs to get certification as well, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
correct.
That's the thing. Like if you say everyone needs to get a halal certification, even the Malay-owned restaurants needs to get a halal certification. But normally you don't think like, oh, you go to a Tom Yum tepi jalan owned by you see a Malay owner and all this, or you could be kedai nasi ayam tepi jalan owned by a Malay.
Ask him or ask her to, can you show me your halal certificate? Then I eat here. No, right?
Most you will see what the grade A or B or C for the cleanliness, right? But you wouldn't expect them to say like, oh, do you have your halal certification? Because it's a Malay-owned restaurant, it's a Muslim restaurant. Of course, it should be okay, right? But when you say that everyone needs to get a certification, that means everyone include Muslim restaurants as well lah.
Yep.
But then it goes to the next step where you talk about the process of applying a halal certification is not transparent enough. Actually, I'm not really aware of what is the process because I don't own a restaurant lah. And also I don't create restaurants to cater to, you know, from a non-Malay or non-Muslim perspective to cater to a Muslim community. Because as far as I can tell, right, usually halal certification is what big restaurants like McDonald's, Subway, of course they all need to get this halal certification because they are catering to a general or wide audience, or you are a Chinese or non-Malay restaurant owner and you want to cater to Muslim Muslim customers, so they will go to the extra step to get the halal certification. And I see a lot of like non-Malays nowadays do that, you know, because they want to target the 60%, bro. It's a big market lah. So there is incentive to do halal certification. But at the end of the day, it still should be voluntary, right? Because again, it's forcing the entire country to follow just one specific
halal logo
process is a bit
halal certificate.
Non-diverse lah. It's really going against our diversity, our culture as a diverse country.
Yeah, because it's actually for us, halal logo, halal certificate is one of the channels of the restaurants. It's not all the restaurants should be halal. Because we are still here, it's got some Chinese or Indians or some others like tourists. Tourists maybe they are not. I like I want to get a beers, then this kind of thing. No, not. It's too niche. I think Malaysia has become a niche market. It's
I mean, you can't fault it for doing that because like halal industry in Malaysia is quite big lah. If I'm not mistaken, it's
only the 60%. If let's say for futures, if for other people's like foreigners and for Chinese, maybe they are the 40% and some others. I don't know. We don't know.
We could. I mean, if we go towards the path of purely halal country, right? We might be excluding other.
We ignore the market share first. We may ignore the market share, but for here, the Malaysia, we are still talking about the multi-racials and we are got these multi-foods, cuisines, all that. So I will still, if let's say you want to cook a good food, we have a lot of varieties. It's not just a halal channels blocking, cannot do this and cannot do that. Then it's got the restrictions. So halal is one of the channels. I respect people who are good of the halal restaurants, right?
I mean, it's not like you're trying to shame people who go to
This is up
non-halal or
to
non-halal or
this
halal.
up to the
That's the
person.
thing, right? I feel like the target always been like the halal certification is talking about putting the blame on restaurant owners to get halal certification, right? Instead of looking at the people who decides that, oh, I like this restaurant, but it doesn't have a halal certification, so I must blame the restaurant owner for not catering to my demands, lah, basically.
Uh, okay. If let's say today I go Japan, I eat a lot of Japanese food. How come they don't have this halal food, halal logo or halal certificates? Then I force them. You if let's say you come to Malaysia, open if let's say for branches, you have these halal logos. Even you are Japanese restaurants. This is the necessary things we so highlight about the halal logo. Because I know some of some of the products. If let's say the chicken is their process in the halal way, they have the certificates. Right. If let's say this
They source the meats from
the meats from, so I put the meat in my restaurants. This is a halal chicken. Halal chicken. I use the halal way to cook it,
to cook it, prepare
it. Maybe my restaurant and don't have this halal logo or halal certificate, but they still is considered as halal food, right?
I mean, if you prepare it the way that you follow the Islamic practices of preparing the food, and then you ensure that there's no haram products in there, then by all account lah, it is a halal food. But of course, in Malaysia, I feel like nowadays more people think that having that logo is a safety net to ensure that they're not eating something wrong there, lor. That's why a lot of people are really, want to push for halal
or maybe
certification.
the people who are do this marketing, people will want this halal logo become as more commercialized for all the peoples.
I mean, that's that that's the theory lah, conspiracy theory that maybe the reason why we want to push halal certification so much because the cost of getting halal certification is not cheap lah. I can say, right? There's a lot of things you need to go through. So maybe they're pushing for everyone to pay for this so that the government can get more money.
For my view of point, I still think not all the restaurant need the halal logo. Even I now the public and the people, as I don't want to say some of the restaurants they not even have this halal logo. There are also a lot of the Muslim peoples and the Malay people who are going to eat and go to have a meal there. This is because they put a belief to the owner, the restaurants. They're preparing the food. Actually, it's the same kind of like last time our Malaysians. I also Malay. I also a Chinese. I go to the Malay food store and I eat the Malay food. It's some kind of like this. It's some kind of like, okay, this is the other scenario. It's not about the halal certificates. It's some kind of vegetarian. I don't know whether you guys got any vegetarian friends. They'll go with you and eat the restaurant with serve with meat. Okay.
I mean, vegetarian is still okay one lah.
But okay, you go with vegetarians and go for the restaurant who has served meat, but he or she is still continue to eat the vegetarian veggie lah. But maybe they go serve the vegetarian your what you call it?
Maybe
the plate,
the meal is like
the plate, the bowl,
ginger beef with broccoli. Okay, then she just eat the broccoli only. Is it?
No. The bowl and the plate, they are only cater for the vegetarian. This is the kindness for
but the thing
friendly.
is that's different from like halal foods and haram foods because like for halal food is like the fact that plate came from the same from the same kitchen as something that is non-halal or haram, then it's already considered haram already, because it shared that same space. Halal needs to be very clean one. Cannot be any like touching the like cannot touch things that is considered non-halal. So it's much more stricter compared to like a vegetarian. So it's not really easy to compare there.
I'm can be said like that also, but sometimes it's because why so strict for this halal these certificates, and then the
The need to enforce this kind of thing, is it?
yes. Because we only in Malaysia, I allow this the some of the restaurant you can be done like this way lah, but not all the restaurant, bro. Yeah, it's not all it's the same. If let's say that you in Malaysia, maybe it's we allow the population. If like 100 restaurant, maybe we allow a 20 or 30% on this kind of a halal restaurants. Maybe it's 40% or 50% because the population is a lot. And the other 50% of the restaurants, maybe the Chinese, according to the population, 20% of the Chinese, maybe 20% the Chinese is no need to prepare for the restaurant, is no need for what you call that, the halal certificate. Because we are according the population in Malaysia.
But that's already too much already, Like you need to calculate. Oh, only 20% of restaurants is allowed to be non-halal or something like.
No, I mean in the market, you should not say 100% restaurants should be got this halal logo. It's not necessary to have that. Say 100% is all the restaurant in Malaysia. You have the 100% is the halal restaurants. So everyone is come here is you. No need to worry. You just a halal food in Malaysia.
At the end of the day, forcing every food establishment to have halal certification is unnecessary lah.
Yep. Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, it's all about who you want to cater to in the market. If you want to cater to the Muslim majority, by all means, go apply for your halal certification lah. It's because you want to tap into the market. But if you don't need that market base, you're not forcing other people to eat at your place also, right? I'm pretty sure a pork barbecue place is not going to pull Malay Muslim into their restaurant to force them to eat the thing also, what? If the Muslim came into the non-halal place, that's their choice, ma. Not the restaurant's fault.
Mm-mm.
To me, if you as a Muslim are tempted by pork, then it is your faith that's wavered, not the food, ma. To me lah.
So okay, it's just some kind of like the religions is very personal. You come to the region is very personal. If let's say I go to the place to makan, of course if let's say you are Muslim, you go to Japan, then how you go makan? Not all the Japanese restaurants they have this
yes,
halal
that's true,
food.
but that's why they are also trying to cater to halal industry. They are making more halal restaurants actually in Japan now. There's more and more restaurants in Japan are catering to Muslim tourists actually nowadays. So there is a market for it. But that's the thing, it's their choice to do it. Not like the Japan government say, oh, you all need to do the halal certification, No, it's that the Japanese people in some Japanese restaurants see, oh, a lot of Muslims like to come to Japan. Let us create a halal restaurant for them to eat in so that we can target their market. Smart move for them lah. But the main point is they chose to do it. It's not that they're forced to do it. What? I think that's the most important distinction we need to say. Like Teresa Court said, should remain voluntary because it is up to the restaurant owner to cater to that market or not. We don't have to force every single food establishment to have certification. Something like a big company, maybe like McDonald's or all this, yes, most likely they are more inclined or more needed to have that certification because it's everywhere and everyone eats it. So it's better to cater to the mass market lah. But like Uncle Roger restaurant, it's a single restaurant. If he wants to make it into a chain, yes, he definitely needs to get certification and I think he was also on the process of getting halal certification but he doesn't have to do it. And if you are a Malay Muslim or whatever person, it is up to you to go to that person who to go to that restaurant if it doesn't have halal certification It's not about Uncle Roger's problem that you choose to eat them And of course, you can still complain lah. You say, oh, why this restaurant doesn't do halal certification? No, I cannot eat. But at the end of the day, it's like, not necessarily must be catered to that person also. What? Even though Muslim is the majority here, but doesn't necessarily mean it has to cater to that person.
Yeah.
That's why I feel like, I don't know for you, but for me, it's like, halal certification feel like it's just a issue that's blown out of proportion just to talk cock about Teresa Cock only lah. I think it's like not really a big issue lah, because to be honest, right, how often do you hear this as a problem in like East Malaysia, like certificate halal cert and all this?
I never heard before they have these halal issues, because usually the halal issue is, I think it's KL and then the Selangor here is a lot of people is highlight these halal logos. Because how comes like last time don't have a mention is so highlight about this halal logo. I know this halal logo and some more not in just in Malaysia, in Singapore and then in China. In Indonesia also got halal logo, but I look there.
But the thing is, right, I don't, coming from my experience living there, it's like not necessarily they're forcing every restaurant to have halal certification.
Yep.
Because there's also like, pork places there also, non-halal places there also.
No, the halal logo is some kind of like just a logo who you are just a Muslim friendly, just a create one certificate. Because some other like you just now you mentioned is like the masjid is who are cooking on the roadside have this halal logo. No, they don't have the halal logo.
But you're not gonna question her, right? Like this masjid who sells goreng pisang, you're not thinking she used like babi powder or what?
It's too. I think the halal logo is too commercialized. The certificate also too commercialized. If let's say I got this halal logo, then I can entry this restaurant to eat because this got a halal logo. How you know after he get this halal logo, he do
never follow through the
not follow the process? How you know? It just get a certificate. But in the end, it's more important the food, the kebersihan in the restaurants and all everything, and then the food is you feel good to eat. This is more important when the people who are choose restaurants lah. But this is all I would like to share is because in one of the China restaurants in the halal restaurant in China, especially in Beijing. This ones is what the local people who are told me. When the restaurant who got this halal logo, even the local Chinese and even the Muslim or non-Muslim, they are love to go these restaurants. Why? Because this halal logo is represent the kebersihan of this restaurant.
It's more clean compared to
non-halal restaurant. They have this kind of way of thinking
because for them it's like you apply for halal means you take the extra step to be more clean, more like better.
These are
that's the thinking
the mentalities there, the last generations the mentalities until now lah. But I think this one is a very good practice. But this they can be this. Let's say for halal logo is already represent the kebersihan things. I mean,
for like maybe for a general public, it's like for you think halal represent kebersihan or cleanliness lah.
Yeah.
I mean, for it not necessarily means that lah. It's also there's other things, other aspects that make it, and also the what type of meats and everything. But again, that point also is quite a useful thing to add value to your establishment lah, to have that halal certification. But at the end of the day, it's still a option one, and it doesn't mean that if you don't have halal, doesn't mean you're not clean. Also, you can still be a clean place to eat even though you don't have halal certification also. Not to say like places without halal certification is not clean. I'm sure there's like other ways that we measure cleanliness in a restaurant. But again, at the end of the day, it shouldn't be a requirement for establishment in Malaysia to have a halal certification. To me, it's about the individual itself. Government to also the fact that if they also want to apply for halal certification, make it as easy as possible or as affordable as possible for restaurant owners to get halal certification. Because honestly, I do think, right, a lot of non-Malay restaurants want to become halal to cater to the halal market. Because it's, again, 60% of the population, bro. You don't want to tap to that market, man. I'm sure, like, let's say a burger place, they can have two different format. One for non-halal, one for halal. That's already double your market already. So for me, it's like, you shouldn't force it, but you should incentivize it. Incentivize having halal certification and what it brings to the table for restaurant owners. And if they don't want it, also no problem. What? we shouldn't shame them or we shouldn't force them or anything like that lah. So that way you can still have your beer and pork belly and your pork skin food and what else? Bak kut teh, all this thing.
Uh,
You imagine if like Malaysia become a fully halal country, right? You sanggup stay
I don't go to stay lah. I
Cannot
will leave.
drink beer anymore.
No, if this is it's just a very common things for. I mean, for non-Muslim, beer, alcohol, and then I'm not the pork lover lah. I'm more a beef lover. So different because I mean this is a right lah. It's a basic right for people who are choose the food. I'm not saying what kind of food or haram or non-haram. Because some people or choose their non-go to eat meat or some more because of healthy concerns lah, everything lah. So we are respect all the Malaysians in KL or in Selangor. So no matter what he eat or what, this is just a
Your choice
your choice one.
Just don't force it into other people lor. That's the thing.
If let's say today you want to go to vegetarians restaurants, you just go to vegetarian restaurants and then have a good restaurant, good vegetarian. Sometimes I also go the vegetarian restaurant for my dinners or for my meal also. It doesn't matter what. It just a choice, you know.
I mean, for you it's different slightly lah, because as a non-Malay, your freedom there is won't be questioned lah. But if you're a Malay, you can't really say to yourself, oh, maybe today I'll just eat non-halal food. It's like that's against your religion already.
Okay, non-halal, halal actually is just a
I
certificate.
mean, some people still do that lah.
Non-halal, I'm not go to eat some haram things what. You know, understand? I just go for just not a proper meal. I'm not eat the haram thing. I'm not do the haram things. It's some kind of like we are just go a normal restaurant without the halal logo. So what? I for me lah, if let's say for me as a nothing what, I just want to choose because the food here is good. Then I ask the owner, is this got any haram things put inside the means the cuisines or the recipe? No. Oh, okay, why I am not eat? I don't know.
I mean, some people just want that requires a halal certification lah. Some people lah.
Some people lah.
But as you can see, not me and Ah Kit lah, apparently.
Something is like the halal and the haram actually just a line.
It's a invisible line, is it? A thin line.
Thin line there. The haram. I just now I haven't said yet. If let's say in the even got the halal logo in China, they're also selling alcohol in the restaurant.
They die already if you're in Malaysia. If a restaurant say they have halal cert and then they serve alcohol, got a riot already lah like that. This one cannot lepas in Malaysia one lah. But what do you guys think? Is the halal thing blown out of proportion, or should every restaurant in Malaysia have halal certification? I think it's a bit nonsense, but who knows? Maybe you guys think differently. But let us know in the comments below. And as always, if you enjoy what we talk about, please share, like, subscribe, comment, and all that good stuff. And you can reach us out at tehtarikhour@gmail.com for anything. And we will see you guys on the next episode. Until then, bye.